I am attempting to beat as many levels in New Super Mario Bros. Wii as possible while collecting the star coins in reverse order. Let's get right into it. I started out with 1-1, a nice and easy level. I got a propeller and went for the third star coin up on this ledge near the end. I then dropped down into the pipe for the second coin, and then back to the checkpoint for the first coin. All that was left was to touch the flagpole, and that is 3-2-1 complete for World 1-1. 1-2 was a similar story. Got into this pipe near the end for star coin number 3, backtracked a bit for another star coin in a pipe, and then back to the beginning for star coin 1. Another easy 3-2-1. 1-3 was another open level, with the exact same pattern as 1-1. Star coin 3 hanging out in the air, coin 2 in a pipe, and coin 1 needing a power-up or Yoshi to reach. I got the normal exit so I could continue through World 1. Next up in World 1 was the mini castle. Now people who've played this game probably know what the result of this level will be. The first 2 star coins are right below one-way platforms, so there's no way to return to them once you advance past them. So all I could do was grab the third star coin and continue on to beat Larry. That marks our first, but definitely not last, failure of the challenge. But hey, we've still got a 75% success rate, which is pretty good. We've got 1-4 up next, which thankfully has some open star coins. I made a beeline to star coin 3, which is a rare instance of requiring the use of an ice flower. That is, unless you know the secret strats, which of course I do. I did grab an ice flower for the middle star coin, though you can actually go on top of this structure to get it if you have a propeller. So you don't technically need ice for this level, but of course it makes it easier. Same goes for dodging this fish in star coin number 1. It took me a while to get that trick on camera for star coin 3, but overall, not a hard level to get 3-2-1. And you know I had to fight the Goomba and get the toad bubbles in reverse. I figured it couldn't hurt to have some mushrooms in reserve either. Next I had the choice for either 1-6 or 1-5. I chose 1-6, starting with the pipe right after the checkpoint for coin 3, only having to backtrack a tiny bit for coins 2 and 1. The most convenient level so far. Next was 1-5, which was very easy with propeller. Star coin 3 is just hanging out near the end, and star coin 2 is right next to this block. Coin 1 is actually pretty hidden, but no different from normal, so I grabbed it and went to the flagpole for a clean 3-2-1. Oh man, World 1 Castle. Now this was a doozy. I thought this one wouldn't be too bad since it was horizontal, so no one-way platforms. But when I went to grab star coin 3 near the end, I saw that this cog was noticeably one way. I got the coin in the pipe, and then came back out to try and get back. This might be tough. I tried to wiggle around a bit, but yeah, nothing doing. Man, this is frustrating. It's like they did this just to prevent me from doing the 3-2-1 challenge. But I did have an idea that would require an item I would need a mushroom house for. So I just went on to beat Larry again, and grabbed the key for now. I tried both mushroom houses in World 1, but neither had the item I wanted, so for the moment I moved on to World 2. But I'll be back to that castle soon. To get the third star coin in 2-2, I had to get the mini from this pipe nearby, and then go into the mini pipe. Conveniently, the mini is the item I wanted for 1 castle, so I wanted to keep it through the rest of the level. Of course, this made it way harder than it had to be, and I was so incredibly close to death to this spike. I struggled back to the vine leading to coin number 2, and up in the clouds I just barely hit the POW in time to get the star coin on the platform. And then of course it puts me all the way back near the end of the level. So I had to go all the way back to the checkpoint, go through the sand and into the spike room. Dun dun dun. It was really scary, but I did nab star coin 1 and barely escaped with my life. I headed for the exit, but not before taking my time to pull off this sick triple jump over the wall. Man, what a rough level, made so much worse by me insisting to keep the mini the whole time. Alright, back to 1 castle. My idea was to try to make it through the one-way cog at the end with my smaller hitbox. Unfortunately, I died to a thwomp before I could make it to the end. So I had to try the mushroom house in World 2. But luckily I did get a mini mushroom, 2 in fact. So I went back to the castle for another try. It was scary, but I made it back to the end. But even with mini, it seems impossible to make it back through this. there's never even a sliver of space to get through. It's not all lost though. There's still room to get star coins 2 and 1 in that order and get a 2-1, which wouldn't be a total failure. I actually thought this would be easy, but soon realized that we have another set of one-way cogs blocking the way. Going above doesn't work either, because there's actually a zone that leads to a secret room up here. If you didn't know, now you know. And no, you can't propeller over it, I tried that too. I attempted to finagle my way through, but obviously that wasn't going to work. I still had a mini, so I grabbed that, thinking that might make it possible. And it almost did. Man, it was so close. Also, I almost died, but I did have a nice save. I tried everything, even going back to 2-2 to get another mini when I lost it. But nothing worked, and in the end, I had to admit my failures and just beat the castle and get a save with a mini. Moving on to 2-3, I tried to keep the mini for some reason, and it didn't last very long. On my second attempt, I accidentally grabbed the first star coin, so I had to reset again. On the third try, I did indeed make it all the way to the end for star coin 3, but then I got stuck. I wish I had kept the mini. After yet another reset, I was able to make it back to the end with mini, but not without a couple more close calls. After getting star coin 3, I hopped out, grabbed the nearest mushroom, and finally grabbed star coins 2 and 1, which were easy enough. All I gotta do is beat the level and then... you've got to be kidding me! This time I said screw mini, I'm taking propeller, and thankfully was able to get the star coins in reverse and grab the flagpole without dying, earning another 3-2-1. For some reason I skipped past 2-1 earlier, so I went back to try that out. Thankfully this was a much easier level, and though the sand is a bit treacherous, I completed 3-2-1 without much trouble. Next came the mini castle. So far, castle levels have been complete failures, but this one actually gave us a small success. The last 2 star coins are both in this large vertical room at the end, so I was able to grab the third and fall all the way down for the second. Star coin 1 was a lost cause due to the one-way doors, but it's okay. A 3-2 on a mini castle is definitely a success. Alright, on to the second half of World 2. 2-4 was a breeze, haha. Anyway, I used propeller to get star coin 3. I actually thought I was stuck for a second, until I realized you can go back down the ladder. Star coin 2 is in the pipe here, and also required propeller. Then I backtracked all the way to this ledge to hit the invisible vine that led to the first star coin, which also benefits from having propeller, but I had lost it at that point. Alright, 2-5 is done with 3-2-1. Alright, time to give a shout out. This challenge was almost wholly inspired by this amazing video from Particular Mushroom, where he tried to collect the Kong letters in reverse in Donkey Kong Country Returns. At some point in the middle of that video, he reached a level that involved such precise movements and strategies that it convinced him the whole video and challenge was worth doing. In this video's challenge, that level is World 2-6. The first thing you'll notice about this level is that it's a semi-auto scroller, where you have to stand on the spinning blocks as they slowly move to the end. So right off the bat, it seems like this might not be possible. Star coin number 3 is on a second spinning block that goes from the checkpoint to the ending. At this point, I realized I might as well beat the rest of World 2 first and save this level for last. So I just got the normal exit to allow save and quit later, and then went to 2-5. In 2-5, I used Yoshi to get the Lakitu Cloud, which I rode up to star coin 3. I lost Yoshi on a Pokey though, so I had to get a Fire Flower for the star coin 2 entrance. But then I lost the Fire Flower and died, attempting to get the Lakitu Cloud for star coin 1. I actually died a second time too, but the third try I was able to grab coin 1 and make it to the end. Okay, so I'm editing this months after I got this footage. I have no clue what the hell I was doing here. All I know is I had to go back into the level for the 4th time, and finally got coins 3-2-1 and made it to the flagpole. A very easy challenge as long as you keep Yoshi. Next was 2 Castle. This is the first true auto-scroller in the game. The first star coin's up here, but reappears if you go into the bottom 2 paths. The gimmick of this castle is each section will repeat if you don't pick the correct path, which could be helpful for us, except each star coin is in a different section, and you can't repeat past sections. So what I did was grab star coin number 3 and defeat Rory at the end. Unfortunately, we have to mark 2 Castle, as a total failure. Now this leads us to 2-6, which I played at the end because it seemed like the hardest challenge yet. I actually already knew how to skip the beginning auto-scroller, which I did so the block would still be near the beginning. But being able to do it in reverse is really the thing I had to test. My first attempt was... actually pretty close. Maybe the transition from the second to first coin isn't so bad. But even with more attempts, I kept coming up just short, and the block would always return all the way back to the beginning, just out of reach. Even at its peak height, this Paracupa didn't give you enough distance after the bounce. I also wondered if the pink block would go back to the beginning once it was done, but unfortunately it stayed put. Man, we're so close. I kept trying, but it always seemed just out of reach. I took a break to see if the transition from the third coin back to the mainland and second star coin was possible, and it turns out it's super easy. So the only thing in my way was this jump back to star coin number 1. But then I had an idea. How do you get more height on a jump off an enemy? Maybe I could ditch the propeller and use Mini instead. Well, I was out of mushroom houses, so back to 2-1 it was. After I got it, I took the World 1 cannon that I unlocked earlier and made a save point. I got back to the moving blocks and tried a wall jump off the pipe to gain some extra height. Oh yeah, this is gonna work. Alright, second try. Boom. It was that easy. I exited the level to try a full attempt. Unfortunately, I didn't even get to try the jump because of the stupid flame chomp. And I had to fully restart the game whenever I died. Ugh. Alright, second attempt. Man, I hate that we have to use Mini so much. Okay, at this point, I was just in my head. Thankfully, after 5 resets, I finally dodged the flame chomp and made it to the actual difficult part. And I nailed it! I got propeller as soon as I could, with the goal of getting the secret exit. But oh my god, the flame chomp made it its mission to mess with me. It was close, but I barely survived and got through the pipe. Phew. 2-6 was finally 3-2-1 complete. I had already used the World 5 save, so I was forced to use a quick save when I exited. We are done with part 1. Next time will be Worlds 3 and 4. A few things I noticed. The overall success rate was 9 successes, 1 partial success, and 3 failures. I'll call that 12.5 out of 16, or 78%. The towers and castles loved using one-way doors and vertical levels with one-way platforms, so they've been our biggest nemesis so far. Actually, every single non-tower or castle level was able to be beat in 3-2-1. I wonder how long we'll be able to continue that trend. Mini Mushroom was incredibly helpful, and I bet we'll see more of it in the rest of the challenge. Alright, that's about it. If you notice any errors or have suggestions on how to improve the challenge, let me know. And of course, if you have strategies I could use to turn any of the failures into successes, post them down below, and I'll try them out and provide an update in the next part if I get any more 3-2-1s. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.